guest to join us online. We won't say who the guest is in case the person cannot make it, but we will hopefully have this person join us. And we will be thanking our sponsors because we did our first Peaceology Could May, where we decided to give a facelift to, we call him Shaba, but Dennis Anthony's home. And Anthony, I said Dennis Kazemi, his mother's Anthony, Dennis Kazemi home, and also Anthony Kazemi's home. The same brothers over in Trafalgar, and Mr. Selwyn's shop. Mr. Selwyn, Mr. JY, and Bernard and his children, one of the oldest businesses, shops in our community. We gave a facelift, and we had some sponsors who we mentioned in our sponsors who were able to make this a joyous occasion, a successful occasion. We also have in studio with us, I know he's behind the camera now, Sheldon Riley, who was one of the young people, but still a teenager, volunteering at both locations. And Sheldon will hopefully share with us because the whole idea of doing the Kudme is to help our young people understand that much of what we get in life, we have to also give. Kudme is a very important part of our culture where we just come in and help each other to achieve great things together. And we have his younger brother, who is Marian Popon, who is in studio with us. Marian is 12 years old. And actually, in a quick moment, Marian is he's gonna play the drum, not the taboo. You have matching drums, the Lapo Xingping version. He doesn't have his other drummers with him, but he and I, instead of me playing Know the Story of Our Piece just by myself, Marian will give me a little beat, and we'll go with the beat, and we'll play a little bit of Know the Story for Our Piece, maybe a little bit different rendition because we have the drum. He's a little away from the camera, and Marian will not go too loud, but he will have some good sound in the background. And if the spirit moves us, and if we hear you guys, we might play you a little Christmas carol, a little Christmas song or two as well. All right. Well, thank you for listening to our introduction. We know there are a lot of people listening in the Roseau Valley, in Dominica in general, in Silver Lake, in other parts of Dominica. We know that there are people who are outside of Dominica as well listening to us here at the big station. And we want to remind you, of course, that this is a call-in show. You can reach us at 449-3095, 449-3096, 449-3097, 616-4257, and our overseas line at 305-432-9624. Our co-host, Patrice KB Saint Jean, will not be joining us. She had prior engagements. She's doing the things that 21-year-olds and doing malls tonight and those types of things. And I'm glad that she's able to take a little time off because she's also on Christmas break. So she apologizes for not being able to be here with us tonight. And of course, we're live on Facebook on the big station on Q95. So anybody who wants to leave some comments, we can read the comments that you want to provide. So thank you. We're going to go in and play a little bit of a beat, give you a little bit of a music, and get further in tune. Marian, give us something that we can follow. Go ahead, give us something. Go ahead. Yes, thank you, Marian. Thank you, Marian. It's given us some drum bits for different rendition of Noble Stars for Our Peace, calling our ancestors and they're together. And I know during this Christmas season, some not everybody celebrates Christmas, but some people do. So I actually want to play you a little bit of a rendition of something Christmas-like. Is that all right with you, Esther?
Of course.
Esther, I didn't know you could sing so good. You and Esther, I mean, you guys have a career, man. Huh?
I know.
Nah, you guys have a great voice. One of them days we must do something together, And maybe if you guys feel it in your spirit, like, you guys can give us something live. Maybe you get a singing contract after that. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Maybe in the break we will do something else, a little Feliz Navidad or a little bit of Shate Noel. I cannot sing Estan, I think Esther, Esther, you know how to sing in Creole, no? You know? Esther, you need to teach her Creole, Huh? You know some words in Creole, though, like mole mage. You know what mole mage means? What? That means I want to eat. Girl, you have to learn that. Well, all right. Welcome again. Okay, in case you didn't know, I don't know if I introduced myself, but I don't need to introduce myself. Dr. Peter KB St. Jean right here live in Studio Q95. We're going to take actually a musical break. And we actually, our last show, we started off our first show with Rasmo. And we're finishing our last show with Rasmo. And we're going to listen to whatever Lambi gives us. Whatever Lambi gives us that is Rasmo, we're going to take it. And again, and then when we come back after the break, we're going to start to get deeper in conversation. Rasmo here with us on the big station, Q95. I'm going to walk the dark. What I find out here, I will bring a gift for you. I will bring a gift for you. I will bring a talking rock. I will bring a teenage rock. I will bring a children's rock. I will bring a Starbucks rock. For you, for you, for you, for you, for you. I will bring a trunk for you. For you, for you, for you, for you, for you. I will bring a trunk for you. For you, for you, for you, for you, for you. We'll bring you strong for you, for you, for you, for you, for you. We'll bring you strong. Was Rasmo. Yes, this was Rasmo Belcado. For you, I bring this drum for you. He seems to have been going around the world and indicating that he has this drum, this beautiful drum, that he is making sure we can receive as a gift, Belcado. And we thank Rasmo and his family and his wife Kathy and his children for being able to allow us to play his music as our bed, but also on our show as we will tonight, and as we did our very first show. They open up in the year, and we are happy to be here to share this time. Now, in a moment, we're going to speak with Esther and Edster Silver Lake and memorialize some of what we have witnessed over the last month or so in the community and before. But before we do that, we want to talk a little bit about the Kudme that we had in Trafalgar um, over the weekend that we had on the 20th, on Saturday the 20th, a couple of days ago of December of 2025, where we decided we just got the spirit. In fact, some people wonder why we do these things. Well, I guess this is Peaceology. You know, it's a new profession. It's a new way of reaching out and trying to create low stress and high joy to help small businesses and to help us have a different approach towards having a more peaceful world and promoting peaceful nature isle in the process. You know, this is the work we do. We do not have any other agendas beyond that, between just trying to do the best we can for the life that God has given us. You know, and I want to thank the sponsors. Anthony Newton Saint Jean, who actually happens to be my only biological brother, Christabel John Baptiste in Trafalgar, Edgar George, Papiat, Brunch and Munch, Sandra's place over there in Trafalgar, Peaceology Acres, Strictly ITELs. In Strictly ITELs provided us some great sponsorship that allowed us to have some of the beautiful products to be able to do our meals. And in fact, we may actually have some more, not may, we will actually have some more could may, because since we have power washed and painted, there's some other people who thought that this is a good idea, that they want to have some of those services for ourselves. So in Trafalgar, in the area where we used to call a long time Lowy Job, back that road where, where Ivor's shop is, where Miss Eunice's place is, where my uncle Felix lived, and where we started doing the work. If we think it to be a good thing to kind of adopt the that area there, and going up by M&G's, by Merle's place, over close to where Stafford Morancy lives, and over where we have the Falls View. So we will be doing some more work there. So strictly I tells we didn't use all of the seasoning you gave us, but we still have some fish, right? We still have a job to cook, right? So so strictly I tells thanks for the contribution that we will still be using. We'll have more work to do. And back to Eden Tropical Escape also is one of our sponsors. Thank you so much. And we have Le Petit Paradis over in Wat Nueven. We had Joan call, and Joan, if you call back again tonight, we still would like to hear more about your place and promote what you and Algie and others are doing there in Wat Nueven. And thank you so much for your generous support. We also have another anonymous sponsor, one anonymous sponsor, and we have another anonymous sponsor that stepped up big time for us over the weekend and actually made some now. No, no, Esther, what is bunjao? Is bunjao like the saltfish? And what is bunjao?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, so
Saltfish.
when we say bread and bunjao, it's like so.
Yeah.
Actually, this morning I still had some. We still had because we had a good quantity, and actually, this person, who has a company wants to remain anonymous. Actually, we had one person was supposed to cook for us for that to have breakfast at 6 a.m. And I had not heard from that person. And at 2 a.m., I asked someone for advice on it because I had the saltfish, how to kind of
Yes.
fast. If you have a whole day, you can put it to soak and all that.
You could just link me.
Yeah, I could have done that, but at the time, I guess I could have. Next time, I remember that. But so I asked someone at that about 1:30 in the morning for advice, and the person said, "Do you want me to do it for you?" Of course, I was not going to play Kodash. I said yes, and I happened to have had the ingredients for strictly ITEL. And by when we set the time, but 6:30, we had that, and that was tasting so good. Up to I had some of the workers, we even had some more. So I said, man, guys, come and have some bread and bunjao, because I remember that's what we called. So it's just amazing when you try to do good things, how other people who also willing to do good things will readily help you. And I think it's for at Peaceology State and in Peaceology, we look forward every day to see people function to the best of their ability, to find occasions where you can feel hopeful that yes, there are still good people in the world. Yes, there are still good deeds. And yes, if I want to do something good, there will be people who will join me in doing good things. And even in Trafalgar, when we were power washing over there by Dennis Kazemi and some other guys said, Keith, as you can do that, why don't you power wash the road by Ivory shop? And I asked Ivory if it's okay to power wash by his shop and up by Massibel and by Kitlin and keep on going. And I said to one of the guys, well, I'll bring the power wash, and the guy didn't, before I finished the sentence, he said, I will power wash it, I'll use the machine, It's people just volunteer their time. And so we have one of the volunteers here, and he's about to get on the mic. And Sheldon, you are, I can say your age is okay. So Sheldon is 18 years old, right? Still, and so Sheldon, tell us one of the things we are saying in doing the Kudme with Peaceology is to introduce you. You've been since you're 18. So in 2000, I mean, geez, how old were you when you started working with Miss Walsh? Walsh and I guess. 8 years old or something like that, because 10 years, yeah, 10 years old, And one of the things we really wanted to do is to be able to give that experience. So I want you to do to you, and Marianne will eventually tell us too, because you're 12 years old and your older brother. Tell me, for you as a young person, putting in your time, you're not getting paid for this. You came in, we had to be weaving in and out of the rain. You know what the shop looked like before. You know what Chaba's place looked like before. For you as a young person, what did it mean to you to volunteer to participate in such a project like that?
Well, it's there by my bread. There by my bread in the morning and things. So I just checking the shop could be better. So and I like to help and things. So
you're right.
Yeah.
So you thought like that's a familiar place. It's a place you buy bread from there.
Yeah.
Your family been going there for a while, and so now what difference you found in, because we had a private home and we had a business, right? And we had different logics and as to why we chose the places, because we just help in that area. But what difference you felt in terms of helping someone in a personal home and helping someone beautify their business?
Well, I'm not sure, but I mean, I'm not sure, but I help with both of them. So yeah,
Mhm.
I swipe by the shop. I still swipe by the house.
Right, that's
Yeah.
right, that's right. You were doing both of those. But what type of feeling you got yourself from doing the work
Well,
yourself?
I felt good. Yeah,
Hmm.
man.
Yes, well, that's the idea. You know, we whenever because we are here, we are using oxygen, we are using drinking water, we are in the world,
Yeah, man.
and
Yeah,
it's
man.
nice. We don't everything we do doesn't have to be for pay. Of course, we have to have an income and do so. But what I just want you to remember, and I want other young people to be able to realize
Yeah.
that they too have something to contribute, and whenever they get an opportunity to volunteer their time to help make the world a better place, it is a very good thing to do. So Marian Popon is here in the studio with us. Marian is 12 years old. So Marian, similar question. I know you didn't have to come to do this. You didn't have to come work as help us out for free, but you decided to come. So what was the experience like for you? First of all, where did you volunteer? Were you both locations or just at one? Tell us. Tell us.
I was both locations. Like I just wanted like to help to learn new things
Hmm.
and like to learn like something new.
So what exactly did you do when you were there? What tasks did you do?
I paint. I help carry stuff. And like I help
You helped, and were you at both locations or just one?
both locations.
Okay, okay. So if you were one of those people where either your business or your home was being painted by others, what type of feeling you think you would have?
Like happy feeling like
Mm.
at least I get help from people even though I can't do it. Like people volunteer to help me.
Very good. Well, thanks for sharing that, and thanks for sharing that with us. And we are glad that you are able to do this. Well, we're going to take another quick break. We're going to take another song. Let's take another song for Rasmo before we go in to go over to speak with Esther Bello and Marianne and Sheldon. Thank you so much for helping out. And here's another number from Rasmo right here at Q95, the big station. Unofficial anthem. Yes, my people, I'm sure you heard that I took a trip all around the world to find the world, save its country. So I report it's our apology that number one, Dominic say number one, Dominic say number one, Dominic say number one, Dominic say number one in the culture and the music. Music drumming me to keep sing. Dominical, open here not yo. Singing that I kill the music, Erasmus. Number one, Dominic say number one, Dominic say number one, Dominic say number one, Dominic say number one. If you are a proud Dominican, in the era, wave a saga, wave your honey. The Caribbean's beautiful Cinderella with one river for the day of the year. The world's greatest Creole festival, cheating, quadrille, bacchanal, wildlife and greenery, everywhere. Complex starvation and hospitality. Number one, Dominic say number one, Dominic say number one, Dominic say number one, Dominic say number one. Let's say you condamné, tu sais méprisé, tu sais yo mal parlé, yo savait ça yo fait, mais yo bagaille, yo pas ça changer, ça nous connaît, c'est de la vérité. Number one, Dominic say number one, Dominic say Dominic say number one, Dominic say number one. Mon corridor, mon développé, puis tout laisse avec tes chiens. C'est quoi les plans de Jaco? Ça y vient dans ville roseau. Ma bouche dans chaque coup. Attaque à six des coups. On pas dire au Westry. Son côté à l'Ibichi. Le chica tout fouillé. Après perdre nous bien. Avec les tangi modèles. On se jamba à la terre. La vie de Stevie. Si on la vient, si nous. On dit au mec à torture. Ça arrive à ta foi, oui. Attaque c'est une mort. Ça nous met au Saint-Jean. Canta Libia, ele estava Joana, muito da sempre toda, toda escrito Tatan, uma tata cime, também não quer manter, a cena one shot kill, a mole trata cutil, a decidi tomate, a pinta de manguabe, se toda caiche, toda toda de balé, estava tentando chover, estava anticipuye, só monjan, esta sempre tem one, é tudo toda ali, ele roda tali, osa con water gallion, oui, this is Jalino, si te don mi che e la me we chante, si te don mi che e la me we chante. Number one, Dominic say number one, says Rasmo. Thank you for listening to Peaceology State here on Q95, the big station. Well, we have a caller, and I'm hoping it's the caller that I'm expecting. Caller, thank you so much for calling Peaceology State right here on the big station, Q95.
Good evening, Dr. Sasha. Good evening to your listeners. Good evening, how are you doing?
Good evening, Honorable Blackmore. Thank you so much for joining us tonight here on our last Peaceology State for the year. I was saying, for those who were listening, I said that we would have a special guest, but I would not say who the special guest is until the special guest is here. Well, Honorable Reverend Blackmore, Minister of National Security and other portfolios, is our guest tonight. So thank you so much for calling. Part of the reason I wanted you to join us tonight, we have Esther Bello and we have her daughter Edista from the community of Silver Lake, where there was a recent funeral for one of the people who died there, Eddie Anthony James. But while we were there, right during that time, we actually the day before we had a community policing initiative that was seen on the ground there, and I think in a way that members of that community did not see in a very long time. And they spoke to the police officers, and they did a great job. And there was a fire officer that was among them. But I thought that if you tell the people about the new revamping of community policing that is going on now and what they saw, to give them a little bit of background and to tell us a bit more of what is going on with community policing in other parts of Dominica.
Well, again, thank you again. I'm not sure if you would use the word special guest for the expression.
Okay.
Anything special about my presence here tonight, but just to say it's a privilege to be on the program and to share always what I consider or characterize as the most vulnerable in our mix,
Mm-hmm.
the young children growing up. And I believe that, as I've always said before, and I just want to reiterate for emphasis, that our greatest legacy are indeed our young ones,
Yes.
And I believe that those of us who are fortunate to have walked the planet Earth before them have a moral responsibility to ensure that the track that we leave for them to traverse thereafter, that track is better than what we inherited.
That makes sense.
And it seems to me, therefore, to ensure that we have to play our respective roles. And I believe the police, apart from having, the mandate in law to ensure that law and order are maintained and to take corrective steps when our laws are transgressed. But also, we're living in contemporary times with so many, as we know, Dr. Sergio, social diversions. And our young people sometimes are confused as to, what is the best choice to be, amidst all the things that you're seeing, right?
Yes.
Before your eyes. And so what we have is a situation whereby I believe that historically, and it's not only unique to Dominica, is something I think that is I mean, you socialize also in North America, and you know there is a tremendous element of suspicion between the police and the community.
Mm-hmm.
And the question is, if that element of suspicion is not dealt with, it's going to be difficult for the police to actually carry out its function. Because you need that kind of public trust, if at all the police were to succeed. I believe community policing is, to me, is very important in trying to mitigate against the element of suspicion that we have between the police and the public.
Okay.
And that the police now have to embark on outreach programs, and of course that are specifically tailored to specific communities. And that is why I want to really take this opportunity to really commend the police force and the commissioner of police and the leadership. And of course, what we now have for the very first time the establishment of a community police unit, which is headed by Sergeant Andrew. And I think they're doing a phenomenal job. And of course, the effort must be complemented with the expertise within the public and private sector. And I commit to legislatively and embarking on a mentorship program for especially our young men. Because let me make it clear that and you as someone who's also trained in the field of criminology, you would appreciate the fact that there are some people who have decided to commit crimes. And it's difficult when somebody attains the age of 60 years or 50 years.
Mm-hmm.
When that person has decided that he or she, that's what I want to do, to change that person.
Sure.
Well, I think what we can do is how do we save this young boy who is 9, 8, 10,
Okay.
and going to the schools, going to the respective community, and trying to build partnership with the whole. Because I believe the problem that we have in society right now, not only in Dominica, is almost the I want to do dismantling of the whole, the family, and the whole issue of when you raise Dr. Senator, your role model was your father, isn't that so?
Right.
That was your father.
Mm-hmm.
And a young man, I mean, I'm not sexist at all. I'm one who believes that a woman is equally competent to discharge any function a man can do. That's what I feel.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe that men have the role to play. Yes, the other term says.
Yes.
And the fundamental value, the bedrock value, is a system that actually kept the stability of society together. It's been threatened. There's so many things, social diversion, and so many acts of deviance, and deviance, as you know, guided into crime. You know.
Yes.
And so you were taught as a young man one day when you get paid to provide, protect, procreate. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Procreate. Those three elements are critical for the continuation, okay, of generation and mankind. You see? Now, this things have been compromised because we say we live in contemporary times and we're old-fashioned. You understand?
Yes, sir.
But we are actually, what we're doing, we are constructing our reality, and then we complain when the inevitable occurs. I get my drift.
Yes, I understand.
So the thing is, I believe now, because you have the weakness in the home, and the churches are not complementing, and the schools are not complementing, and then you have the peer groups getting very, very potent, and peer groups, if they're not managed, will inmate into gangs. You get my point I'm saying?
Okay. Yes.
And so I believe now the police force, therefore, have to embark on a mission to try to engage the communities for the express purpose of preventing crime. And that's why I believe the mentorship program in Silver Lake, you're not trying to victimize or particular community. It's a national approach you're going to have. But you have to recognize the certain communities that with peculiar needs. So in tailoring your community policing program, it has to be specifically tailored to fit, the community in which you're targeting. So I believe now trying to build this mentorship program with the young men, going to the school, going to the community, and it's something that the police have begun, and I want to compliment them for that. And I really hope that the public, and both within the private and the public sector, can really be supportive. And from what I've been told, and advised, that they get the support. I have been to a few meetings. The last one I went to was in Goodwill, and I was very much impressed to see the number of people from the Goodwill community in St. Roma who came out and were very much, concerned about the safety and want to work with the police. So I believe police now have to actually depart from this one-dimensional perspective, where one is the police is to arrest somebody.
Mm-hmm.
No. I felt a particular way because I was an investigator from a very early age until when I went to university. I came back as an investigator, and I experienced a lot of stuff. You get my point? A lot of stuff. And I realized that there were some people who committed crime. Not that they were criminals, but some people are less able to be tolerant in grinding, in misery. And you might find that, we had a situation, a number of instances, whenever you had a break-in, you want to Silver Lake, or you want to focally to look for possible suspects. You know what I'm saying? Was it a kind of stereotype? It doesn't mean to say that serious crimes are not happening in Goodwill or St. Roma. You may have a different form of crime that is even more devastating than a fellow who went to steal, some pieces of lumber or some plywood to build a house. You get my point. So I believe that you learn from that experience, and I believe that's why I believe that the community policing program, to me, is very important. And I, as a minister, before I leave this because I have to live a life of calmness soon to come. You know what I'm saying? But I want to see a Dominica that is you have a Dominica that continues to be peaceful or even more peaceful. And then the spirit of law and order is upheld by all. Understand? And recognizing that there's one transcending interest, and that is national interest and country first. Is it right? Right?
Yes,
and I believe all of us can have that as having country first. But for me, God, your family,
right,
country, and everything comes after. Is it right? So, and I believe that we have to start thinking that way, and see in our lives that our presence, our physical presence on earth right now, is just one presence, but your eternal life, okay, is to follow your life on earth, and it is your eternal life that is determined the kind of life you live. You get my point. Yes. And that's why I believe it is very important for us to try to save our communities, and I believe the police force. One that approach is to me is making a mark that will be inspiring, and I believe all of us should embrace. So I believe that you two, Dr. Senator, have a book of yours that is probably there. When you were working with Petrus and Gandhi, you had when you launched a community policing program, you had the Commissioner of Police from, I think, Ottawa, and somebody from Buffalo, I think, according to my recollection.
Right.
And you started something in Gandhi and you wrote a book. And that book, to me, is still very, very, very instructive and still endlessly relevant now.
Thank you.
It was futuristic then, and still relevant. So I wanted to just to say that we have launched the community policing program in Gambia, where I was actually involved, and the permanent secretary, Mr. Commodore, and others were very intimately involved, the chief police. And we met, and I met with guys on the block.
Right.
And separately in our office, guys on the block, the guys, and nobody knew that. Guys on the block, I can call them names. And then we met with all the committee leaders, and nobody was left behind. And we formed a group. We call it, an action plan group. And they identified the problems in the community. And the principal of the primary school in Gambia, this guy is phenomenal. You see? And all this people have been involved. And then we had a public meeting. And that was, to me, that was like a political rally. The entire village came out. And all the time when we were having a lot of problems in Gambia in terms of gun violence. And we went there. And the people came out. People spoke. Everybody spoke. Then we moved to Bassett State. I met again with the guys on the block in Bassett State in the office. And then we met a bigger group of community leaders. And then we went to have a public meeting. We met with the guys, but the guys on the block have talent. The guys on the block, they can sing, they can do certain things. The question is, how do we develop an affirmative action program? And I mean, these guys can channel their energy into positive things,
Right.
All these things I believe in these things, but I also believe in strong law enforcement intervention.
Okay.
When you see a gang emerging, as the police are doing now, I don't know where to get into specific, but you have to dismantle. You have to dismantle the gang, get the leaders, get the lieutenants. They have to be dismantled, and because we do not want any semblance of gangs in this country. And for me, whether I'm a minister or not, I would hate to see a culture of gangs or the rule of illegal guns in this country. It has nothing to do with politics. The rule of illegal guns, it says, has no place in the Commonwealth of Dominica. What has space in the Commonwealth of Dominica is the rule of law. So we have to separate this thing. If we stop committing police to do these issues, then we need to have a very firm, decisive action to be taken against those who believe that, who have made it the vocation to commit crime. And so this is this culture of gang that we've seen evidence of. Before it's fester, we have to ensure that we dismantle and do those gangs. And I will stand here in the police, in any action the police takes, in keeping with the ambit of the law, to dismantle any groups seeking to show this kind of inclination towards gang in this country. But we're talking about community policing. And we have to try to save the young guys from getting involved or getting enticed by those who want to use them and so forth. So I want to commend you for the program tonight, and I'm happy that I could have called here. The fact is, we live in the Casa Comfort area in Bourbois. But we see we get linked up there on internet. Always have problems. Like I said, we're the first to be when we have issues with power. We're the first to get the hard part of it. And when we have issues with water, we're the first set who do not have water. So hoping that in the next couple of days, my internet services can be not intermittent, but perfect.
Thanks, Mr. Blackwell. Thank you so much for spending the time. I'm just wondering if you tell me a little bit, the people in Silver Lake who are listening now, those in the studio who were there, who had the excellent presence of the police officers who were there, all of the four the highest rank, the 4 highest ranked people were on the ground, and sergeants, and corporal, all the way down constables and so on. I will mention them individually later on. But what should the people in Silver Lake expect as kind of next steps in terms of their engaging with the police in this or this community policing committee and in this effort? What should they expect?
I think what they expect is actually a mentorship program. And of course, the forging of that kind of relationship between the police and the community.
Okay.
And then I'm one who believes in structures. Because if you don't have structures and to hold people accountable, so you have a group in Silver Lake, and that group will identify the problems. And you'll have follow-ups. You see, because if you don't do that, what you're going to see happening is like, now again, people appear and you see displays on social media with no real results. It has to be results oriented, and then it has to be guided by needs. You get that for what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's why I believe that what we're doing now is identifying a core group in Silver Lake, and representing the interests of Silver Lake, and to keep that dialogue continuing, and to partner, of course, with different players, both within the private and public sector, with expertise in various fields, especially when it comes to youth development,
right,
and community development, and how many young men say that should be at school or not at school, and what can we do to assist these people? You see that? Now, growing up, my days and your days, I'm sure I'm older than you, but you have to be a scout. And if you you have to be a scout. Or if you're a young lady, or a girl guy or a brownie, isn't that so? And then you have a number of social groups. You have to belong to a group. And those who have built character.
Right.
The social integration is lacking right now. It's critical to building character and integrity, and that those core virtues are instilled in a young person. They create the platform for industry and ambition, and embracing the fundamental principle of meritocracy. You know what I'm saying? So,
yes.
So you have to be a scout and a competitive. You get my point, and then and so these things are lacking now. And then so if you don't have the social groups and the homes are weak, what do you expect from the young child? No direction. Because you have to appreciate the importance of primary socialization. And I cannot school you that. You're a doctor, you're a sociologist, you're a criminologist, so you know better than me. You know what I'm saying? And that is why I believe that there are so many different perspectives as to why people behave a particular way. I mean, one of my most interesting philosopher. I mean, he was kind of strange in his thinking, but some of his quotes and some of the things that his ideas, his main idea, is still endlessly relevant today. And that is why socialization is so important for a young child, because I'm almost certain that you're very much familiar with Thomas Hobbes. Yeah? Of
course.
This guy, and he speaks about the condition of man. It's so profound. And I believe that there's some relevance today in what he says. And the condition of the condition of man is a condition of war, Dr. Fraser.
Right.
A condition of war. And what does it mean by that? It emphasizes, therefore, thinking of it and trying to analyze that quote. It emphasizes that man in his natural state, man in his natural state, and human beings are more or less guided by self-interest, and engaged, you know, on almost in a struggle of for power and resources, a struggle for power and resources. Doesn't that sound familiar to you?
Oh yes. Well, the issue is that, Mr. Blackmore, every living organism exists for one main reason, which is to reproduce itself, not to reproduce somebody else, to reproduce itself.
Okay.
The most important thing for reproduction is life, right?
Yeah.
And so, in order for one to stay alive, they have to overcome forces that otherwise would eat them up. So, the natural living organism, even like a plant, even like a crime, like even crimes are living organisms because they can grow, right? The natural tendency is for it to reproduce itself and for it to stay alive, and the survival of the fittest, as Maslow and other brothers say, right?
But I'm saying human beings are guided by self-interest
Mm-hmm.
and engaged in an ongoing struggle for power and resources.
Right.
But and if you analyze that, and you've seen a traffic display on a daily basis,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, guys, what you commit crime for?
Mm-hmm.
Commit crime. Some guys, yes, you want to be rich. You don't want to. You don't work for it. And then you that struggle for power. There's a quest for resources.
Mm-hmm.
You see? And the same way you see with capitalism, and this constant need for consumption. Do you get my point?
Mm-hmm.
That's why you have new things being created every day. So think about somebody who's not properly socialized. Yeah, okay,
Mm-hmm.
being bombarded by all these materialistic things.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right. And
How
then,
easily you get yourself into falling and committing crimes. So that's why the
Right.
building of character from the home setting and those social groups that we had before made very, very well defined, wholesome young men and women in years before. Now those social groups and this social integration that we had before is no more. You get my point? But when you think about it, it's okay. Just now, you're going to be okay to walk on your road naked, You see? It's going to be okay because, of course, of the grinding and the erosion of our core value system. And then we do not make a separation between what you can do at your home. You can't do it in the public setting. Do you get my point?
Yeah,
Because why? Because why? This kind of civilization we got
Mm-hmm.
from the home setting before is eroding, and that is why I believe you're going to have organizations like a police force almost having, because it's in the interest of the police force to have less crime.
Right.
Do you get my point?
Yeah.
Because you tend to maintain law and order.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and stuff like that. So that's why I believe it's a battle, and folks like you, Doctor, you have to continue doing what you're doing because it's not easy out there. It's almost like you're fighting a losing battle.
So, Mr. Brackon, let me ask you this. Let me ask you that in that context. And before I ask you the question, I just wanted to make a comment about something you said. It is, like you say, human beings, and Hobbes and others have said that human beings are basically motivated by self-interest, right? And we say part of that self-interest is because they need to stay alive, they do reproduce themselves, and if they don't take care of themselves, they think that others will eat them up. Well, obviously, that is true to some degree, but we could also share. What we have also found that because human beings are primarily wired for self-interest, it is very important for there to be justice where resources and power are equally or sufficiently distributed among people. And in cases when we find that people believe they have enough esteem, they have enough food, shelter, clothing, and esteem, they're less likely to be cantankerously fighting with each other for limited resources. And in situations where people feel estranged from the food, shelter, clothing, and esteem and access to power, they are more likely to fight against others. Now, when you are powerful enough to go up against a system, you fight the system. But when you feel that you're not powerful enough to fight the system, because you're frustrated, oftentimes you fight against yourself. So one of the solutions that we have learned is that if we have equitable and fair distribution of power, of food, shelter, clothing, and resources, helps people who are motivated for self-interest to not have to eat each other up together just to make things work. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, well, the thing that what you articulated there coincides with the conflict theory.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When you have a constant conflict between two groups,
mm-hmm.
the dominant class and the working class.
The bourgeoisie, the period, like
right,
Marx
right.
talks about.
Now, I don't want to make any specific reference to the Communist Manifesto,
mm-hmm.
but it's just yeah. So the thing is that, but that's a very important and very potent point that you are making.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to believe though on the whole issue of social contract. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Social contract.
Yeah.
Understand?
Mm-hmm.
And for social contract in itself to survive, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Those who are governed by a central entity or government,
mm-hmm.
Hypothetically, therefore, have to buy into that understanding that, you know, almost like a collective, you want to say a collective, a shared kind of responsibility,
right.
and agreeing to be governed. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So if just like seeing the role of a government is to provide collective security.
Right.
Right. But again, you that's being governed have to agree.
Mm-hmm.
You have to agree, and that's why sometimes you have coups, etc., because suddenly you believe that you're being oppressed.
Right.
You get my point?
Right.
And then so your point that you're making, even if you were to look at it very critically, now you find because we have gotten, you can't go on before Dr. Sergio. When somebody was a needy person in the community got something, everybody was happy for that person. A needy person in the community was homeless, like 50 years ago, or even when I was raised. And something was done for that person, the whole community would have applauded.
That's right.
You get your point?
Yeah.
But no, that is not so. Because even those that are supposed who may be better off than you, Dr. said, and let us suppose you would get something. Because equality is not, equality, I don't know, is not fair, it does not mean it's fairness. To be equal, to share something equally doesn't mean it is fair. No? Fairness has to be governed and measured based on need. Do you get my point?
Okay.
Now, if, for example, I always made the point. If, let us suppose you have two of us, right? And you have a house, right? I don't have a house. But they have two houses to share. Well, let's give each man one. But you're going to have one. Do you get my point? If you have shared it equally. But it's not fair. It's not fair. Do you get my point? And that is why I believe it's not a subjective thing. It is real. So what is happening right now? You may find situations whereby people who are already in need get in the system. But those who are better off vexed. Do you get my point? So that is why I believe Thomas Hobbes' main idea of the selfishness of man. You understand? If left unmitigated, will overpower his being on his soul. Do you get my point I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
And I'm saying, so that's why I believe, I'm not trying to be theoretical here, or back to school, back to the classroom, etc. But you see these things there manifesting themselves before our very eyes. And it brings us, therefore, to the role of government. And some of us are misguided by the view that the role of government is to operate as a business.
Mm.
You see?
Right.
So the question is about some people feeling that they're not being treated fairly, etc. But what barometer do you use to measure that? Do you get my point?
Right.
So I see, sadly so, that the element of grief. Now, I may look like somebody who's sophisticated, but I'm not very. For me, I don't want to be somebody with a lot of wealth. To kind of, quite honest with you, I just feel happy. You dress how you want to dress. But where are you going to go with all the money? I never been to a funeral and see man going with all this money. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm not saying, but I'm not saying what we're seeing happen. This capitalistic world right now, and with the bombardment of consumer goods, it's creating an element of greed. You understand? And Bob Marley says, "Them very food, but they're hungry." See? And then if we're not careful, we are going to turn a blind eye on the weakest among us. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And then we have to look out for the weakest among us. And a country is better off when those who were once on the margins of society are now removed and are marching up, not down. You get my point?
Right.
And I believe I'm hearing this thing all the time, because not because I belong to a political party, but my God, I can be objective. You see?
Yes,
and I'm seeing people getting upset over people who want to wet him. You know what I'm saying? Getting cover over the head for themselves and the children. But you may find other people saying that's not fair. Do you get my point?
Yes, I
and
understand.
the person who said that's not fair there is well covered. And maybe getting lost of duty free. And maybe not paying, don't want to pay income tax. I've never paid income tax.
So, Mr. Blackwell, here's the question I wanted to ask you. I want to ask you, and you just answer the best you think. In the year 2020, in Dominica, we had, in terms of murders on the record, we had 2 murders. In the year in the year 2000, I meant 2000, we had 2 murders. In 2001, we had 1 murder. We in 2002 we had 10 murders. Since then, we have not had 4 or less murders since that time. And for the very first time, as I read in the papers, we have 19 and 20, the 2 highest numbers, but let's say 20. We have arrived to 20 for the very first time. So tell me if you agree with me in what I'm about to say. I believe that it may not be far-fetched to think, because there were years when Dominica had 0 murders. What 0 is, who knows? I think it is possible that in some reasonable time in the future, Dominica can return back to days where we could have at least 3 or less murders. We would be glad to have 0, but 3 or less murders for at least 3 consecutive years. And I believe we should be able to accomplish that in more than 10 years. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that is what we're striving for. And I'm happy about that. You and I did not actually think about that before. But I get a bright mind and stuff like that. I'm not bright, but I'm referring to you. And yes, and that's why I believe a combination of decisive law enforcement intervention and building partnership and with the various communities. We do the homes playing the roles, the schools playing the roles, social groups playing the roles, the churches. Our churches are weak. You know what I'm saying? And then then and we have to say it how it is. I mean, I believe that I'm getting to the point where I believe I ought to be able to say what I want to say in due time, because I think the level of hypocrisy in this country must not be allowed to continue. Okay. And this one-sided approach of seeing things and the tinted conceptual lens that we use should be set aside. And I believe that, I mean, if all of us play roles and the various agencies that are critical to shaping the lives of individuals and the consequential disposition of that individual that will arise thereafter. So I'm saying that is what we do have in a holistic approach. So the police now embarking on this national approach of community policing. And the home is doing what is also to the schools and the workplaces. And we bring back this kind of social integration that we have. Maybe it will not be the same as we had 20, 30 years ago. But you can have something. And I think that, and at the same time, identifying the criminal elements, because we have a situation right now, and when I look at crimes, I like to look at trends. And that's how you're going to actually determine patterns. Right? Not only just looking at 2 years or 3 years, but it's looking at historical trends. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I mean, you made reference to 2007.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if you go back to 1996, we had 8 meters. 97, we had 9. You get my point?
Right.
And then 98, we had 7. 99, we had 7. 2000, we had 2. So all the years before, including 1991, we had 3, 4. 1993, we had 7. 1994, we had 5. 1995, we had 6. So we had this up and down stuff. But what we have now, what we're seeing, because of the greed is festering, and wanting to have more money. You don't see a market in illegal firearms. You get my point.
Okay.
We now see the cross-fertilization of crimes, cocaine, and those persons who are trading in cocaine who use the guns to protect the trade. That's what happening there. Now, where the guns come from? So you have cocaine, you have the guys using the guns to protect the trade. Okay, and then you also have the trading of illegal firearms. Because one 9mm is about 9,000 euros. One machine gun is about 20 or 25,000 euros. That's a huge market. You can go to a gun show in America and buy guns. So man says there's no conflicts. You get my point.
Yeah. And
so all this is happening. So that is why you see you have a number of gun-related crimes, because a man get double cross with his drug, then somebody has to go. You get my point?
I understand.
And that is what we're dealing with. And some of us, we know we should wear, to use a common phrase, and we should wear. And that because you have that corruption is not only one like to talk about corruption about politicians, but because you have corruption, I mean, people benefit from the proceeds of crime. And there's a code of silence. You get my point? So unless that we have to work hard to go after those people who are facilitating those kind of illegal activities, sometimes result in murder. Do you get my point?
Yes, sir.
So all that work now, so it's a combination of not only having affirmative programs targeting our young men. Okay, the government now is building this center of excellence in Goodwill, where Goodwill Secondary School used to be, where vocational skills can be taught to our young men and women. And we are across the island, stand the youth enterprise development. We can all do all those things. But as I said, now what is happening now? And let us be bold about it. Let us be honest about it.
Mm-hmm.
Our young men have been told, why you go and learn a trade? Why go to school? And you can go and push up the cook for me, drop it in the middle of the ocean while I'm asleep, or I'm watching cartoon with my box of shots. And you can go and drop that in the ocean, in high sea, under lightning and rain, and you get $5,000 US to do that. You tell your teacher, a teacher can't make that in a month.
Mm.
A medical doctor want to make that in a month. Doctor says I want to make that in 2 weeks. You get my point?
2 days, 2 days.
That is what our young guys have been told. You know,
Yeah,
so I'm saying
yeah.
that no, and these are the things we don't want to talk about.
Yeah. Mm.
And when Blackman speaks about it, man say black, but it's a fact. You know what I'm saying? And I'm saying unless we can be honest about this thing, and every time somebody got shot, somebody died, sadly so. We all say, I'm saying about, are we concerned? Everybody, you know, speaks loudly. But we know what the problem is. We know what the problem is. And we are fighting against those who want to solve the problem. And we come and pretend in the public.
Yeah.
You know, we know. So I'm not saying that. That is what I'm saying. That we are on a daily basis, constructing our own reality. And when inevitable happens, we go out and we scream. But we know it's a game we play. You know, I mean, you know, they call that impression management. So I'm not saying that that's right. Okay? That is what we are against. And that is what, if we're serious about it, and let us do something about it.
Yeah,
and I'm confident. I'm confident there are people who are serious about it. And the police out there fighting. You have a number of people there fighting. The government has certain programs out there. But you cannot be a criminal and a good person at the same time. You have to choose one. You get my point?
Okay.
And I believe that if each of us play our role and help our young folk, it's going to be a better place. And I believe we can bring it back. And I believe we can bring it back to zero, because I said, I believe we can.
So you believe we can? You believe we can have under three murders or less, at least 3 years consecutively? We can probably achieve that in the next 10 to 15 years if we put our heads together.
That's the intention. In fact, they're always the crime. And the notion that more money, less crime, that's not always true. And
actually, I wrote an article called "More Money, More Crimes" in 2005.
Okay, that's what you got.
Right.
Okay, the other was who rich poor my friend. A man who not involved in this thing. You see, at the end of the day, it goes back to character building. Character, the individual. And my friend, everything goes back to the home, goes back to the churches, the school. My friend, when went to school, I don't believe in spanking children. I never spanked one of my children. Understand? But my mother was a very serious enforcer. And when you went to school and a teacher did something to you, you were not able to come back and tell your mother, you know.
So you got some volley when you're a little boy now. You got a few.
You get a second bit in there.
Okay. Did you get any volley yourself?
Okay, so I'm saying now. You know. So I'm saying there's things there. But at one stage, just going back, we had in the 90s going up to the 2000s, averaging 1,400 burglaries a year, you know. Right? That was something else, you know. That was, you know, we had a lot of burglaries before. And now, I mean, in 2024, we only had 127. 2023, we had 364. 2022, we had 414. So you see how drastically burglary has gone down. Rape, drastically down. All right? Theft, indictable. Indictable, I mean, if you, I'm talking about theft, if you steal anything, $10,000 and above, That's an indictable offense. It goes to the high court. Anything below that, you call it is a summary offense. Both indictable and summary, they're done. So if we're doing that well
Mm-hmm.
in the other categories,
Mm-hmm.
because we must not make the mistake when we talk about crime to use one category, okay, as a reference point, right?
Mm-hmm.
And to give an idea, or as to the crime rate so far as crime is concerned in Dominica.
Yeah, to use like the totality of different
Right.
categories. We
Right.
we
And
use
that is why-
murders because it's a kind of an international measure.
Right.
But you're absolutely right. You have to. Yeah.
So-
Mr. Blackmore, I know I want to be respectful because I have. Thank you for
Yeah.
the time. I don't mean to cut you off, but to some degree I have to because I have our community members from Silver Lake. I want to at least have a 20 minutes run with them before we close out.
no problem.
And thank you for giving the context that you give. I also want to invite you again because I want us to continue this conversation on Kyrie FM on the 5th, on Monday, the 5th of January. We will be doing our first show called Peaceful Nature Isle. And I will talk to you further, but I'd really like for you to continue that type of conversation, especially what you started to talk about, the fact that it is possible for us to get our murders down to 3 and less, right? In a reasonable time, because we have been doing good other trends. We have been reducing, we've been having a more peaceful Dominica in other kinds of contexts, and we need to do more together because hopefully this is the last time we have 20 murders in Dominica for a very, 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 very long time. None of us that's alive now should be alive if it ever happened again. So I would like on Monday 5th that we can really mobilize listeners, mobilize people in the government, non-profit organization, in the for-profit sector, in the private sector, to be able to help us on board, to let that be something of the past and to cut our homicides drastically to next year and as we go forward. What do you think of this?
Okay, only Ben.
All right. So thank you so much, sir, and we'll
One
stay in
love.
touch. All right. One love, sir. Thank you so much. This was, if you were listening, thank you so much. We had about an hour conversation, close to that, with Honorable Rayburn Blackmore, who is Minister of National Security and other portfolios. We were glad, Esther, I apologize for the long time, but I think it was a good thing to have him set some context. We always have time for you to be with us. Hopefully you can join us. Feel free to join us on Carrier from our first show on the 5th as well, because we are working this together. And I wanted to, as Mr. Blackmore was talking about, I remembered that Gloria Walsh was also on the ground there with us in Silver Lake. And just looking at her participate with the other community members there, it was such a beautiful thing. And I just wanted to say, some very special, some very special words for the fact that we had Bernard, Mr. Daru, who's a police officer himself, who actually we knew him before. Actually, before he became a police officer, when he was over there in Gotha Village in Ampis area as well. And then he did some work with Gloria Walsh and myself, before Benji of Benjo Simos, the police officer, excellent young police officer, as an acting corporal. We have ASP Lyndon Timothy, who was also on the site. We had Corporal Moses, who was is just a good life. We had a good selection as a corporal to be, interact with the community the way that he did, and someone that I've known for a long time. ASP Timothy again. Who I was so glad to see on the ground. Like when we did some of our work in community policing over in 2008, he was one of those who drove us around in different areas. Someone whose heart is there for the vision that Mr. Blackmore spoke about in this new era of community policing in Dominica. I was also very impressed with WPC Alexia Louis Joseph, who was just fitted so well, and women police constable also, Colonel Thomas, on the ground, and we had a fire officer, Renda Andre, who was so awesome. We have to get her to sing some songs. We were singing, I was playing the accordion, and then Sergeant David Andrew was playing the cowbell, and then Corporal Moses was also playing the drum. We were playing the marching drum as well. So and again, as I said, the four police brass, the top ranks, acting commissioner, deputy commissioner, and two assistant police commissioners, well, deputy and the two others were there, and I know Moses for a very long time, and some people I met closely for the very first time, but I just wanted to thank the top brass and the other police officers. So Estelle, let me give you as much time as possible. You heard Honorable Blackmore. You experience matters in the community. I wanted to compose our thoughts, and as a matter of fact, while we do that, while we just process, and before we get to Esther, we're gonna just take a little creative break. Huh? Lambi, you okay with that? We will take a little. We'll take a little break. Feliz Navidad. Change the mood there. So, Esther, what's on your mind? What are your thoughts? What have you heard from the minister? What do you feel about your community? Do you think we can have less than 3 murders for more than 3 years in sometime within the next 10 years? Talk to me.
Of course we can if we try. Nothing beats a trial.
Thank you. What do you think, Esther? You think you can do it? She's thinking.
Yes, we can. We can try.
So, what are some of your thoughts? Thank you. What are some of your thoughts? Well, what Mr. Blackmore said, especially as you connected part of what you saw on the ground. Does it seem like a new era in policing to you, or is something like police as usual based on what you saw, what you experienced recently, what you heard the minister say?
Yes, I think it's a new era because all my life, and I've been living at Silver Lake. That's the first time that I saw the police working with us in some positive ways, because all the time that they have been coming to Silver Lake is like for something negative. Either they come to solve a crime, they come to look for somebody. But when they came there last week, it was a moment of joy for the children because Christmas is a time of love. So I guess they chose the right time to come. And although I was late because I wasn't there, I'd been to church, and when I came back, I was amazed to see, the amount of food and the amount of gifts. And that was the first Christmas party that the children attended for the year after their pal rep. But that was the first one. And then the ranks of police that I met there, I said, wow. Then I saw Mr. Corbett. He came to me, shook my hand. Then it had other corporals and sergeants, and I felt good that they could be at Silver Lake without fear, because most people just look at Silver Lake like, a war zone. No, it's not, because the police were there and they wasn't fearful. They were happy. They beat drums. They sang, and I myself stood up and I looked at the situation and I say, well, if the police can do it with us, others can do it with us,
That's a very
and
good
just
point.
take out the negative perspective about us, because we are not all bad. Come in the community, seek with us, find the solution, because where there's a problem, there's always a solution. So if they can come together as the police did to work with us, work with the children, work with the youths, try to cut down on the negative talks, the negative impacts, bring in different groups, church groups, because we used to have that before. You understand? And we can all make a better Silver Lake, a better Dominica, and to just put us on the map as not only bad, but as good.
So now, Esther, I don't know if you remember acting deputy chief Jeffrey James. He said he wasn't going to say anything. He didn't come to plan to say anything, but you motivated him. But I want Edistar to tell me about that, because Edistar, do you remember that
JJ.
So listening to him said that when your mother spoke, what came to your mind when you heard him say how moved he was by what your mother had to say, that he thought he had to say something? How did you experience that?
Well, I felt good when he said that. Because as they say, he wasn't about to say anything. He was just watching the environment and everybody in it. So when he said what my mother said moved him, it caused him to come on the mic and said something. I feel so that whatever she said, it touched a spot. It hit a spot, it hit home. So I felt good about it, that she made him feel good. She made him feel comfortable, because sometimes we don't know he could be feeling uncomfortable prior to the situation that had just happened.
Right.
You understand? And she's saying that made him feel a sense of comfort.
So Esther, that was a very good point you made, that if the police, which we could think, someone could think that's the biggest enemy of Silver Lake, right? Let's not say that they really are, right? In terms of, because you hear bad things happen in Silver Lake, you think police brutality, police this and that, right? So the reputation Silver Lake has, maybe the police is maybe opposite to that, right? Right. Let's just assume that. Let's not say exactly. But they came and they had this time. So maybe nobody else should fear, right? Because maybe the people that probably would fear each other the most, or maybe the police people at Silver Lake people may fear the most, maybe would be the police were able to be accommodated there. What other people you would think that you would be able to, you would invite to have such a good time, a sensible, useful time with the community besides the police?
Church leaders, community leaders, people in high society, like that deals with children, those that can advise them about different things. Just a different forum. They can always contact Miss Gloria Walsh, which always there with us through thick and thin. No matter what, she never gives up on us. You too, Mr. Seja. They can always come in to see, because Mr. Lockhart, he works with the government now. He was there from years. They used to have the roving cares with our children when they were small. Most of our youths now, they dealt with them when they were at a tender age. So they knows about the community better than anyone else. They can just go and ask for Mr. Lockhart, because all our youths that they know, he worked with them at a young age. So he knows that it's not always bad in there. So come and talk.
Right.
Come and reason.
Right. So let me tell you, Mr. Blackman had been thinking about something. He mentioned about, and the way he made it sound, right, is like, which is obvious, right? But some people say, okay, we have the Boy Scouts, we have the Girl Scouts, right? But for some people, Boy Scout and Girl Scouts is just something they hear about, right? To some people, that's something he lives, right? So, but he's right that the Boy Scout and Girl Scout, they're for all of us to have people. To some people, like, you just join it because, that's the vibes. But to some people, you just hear about it. Have you seen Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts maybe even come to your community and kind of talk to your people about what the organization do? Have you seen that?
No, unfortunately.
Is that something you'd welcome?
Yes, but then we have about 2 girls that in the Girl Guides.
Girl Guides, okay.
You understand?
But I think to what you are saying and to what the police did, it's an example of people who can come to your resources, even like Rotary Club, right?
Of course.
I know some people, Rotaract, I've known some people, they're friends of mine, and they seem like they do awesome things. You talk about mentoring, I missed some of the names that are coming to mind now, but I know that there are some men that were involved in kind of mentoring groups. And the same way that I saw the bags with Sagicor on it and bags of other companies on it, the same way. Even employers. I'm not trying to put my partner account, but even like KFC, right? KFC is a big brand. I'm not saying they have to necessarily come there and give chicken, but it's a big company, right? And even talking about what it's experience like to work in a place. Even I go to Do It Center. I shop at Garo Enterprises and do different places. Even a business that just tells you how a business works, and
Yeah.
even if it's 1 hour or 40 minutes, I just come bring people together to say, oh, maybe you shop at Child's Pharmacy, but here's how a pharmacy work. Here's what my
Yes.
story, how I became a pharmacist, right? Or when I'm a cashier, I'm a security officer, just regular things because regular people are looking to understand things of regular life. So it was amazing to me when Mr. Blackmore said this, and I said, and I remember Edison was when we were here the last time. Was it Jamal? Was with us again?
Shamal.
Jamal was with us, and he was saying about the churches. It feels so
Yes.
good when the
Yes.
ministers would come to Silver Lake, and he was asking for
For them to come
for
back.
the fifth base to come
Yes.
back. So I think in that way, a church can come similarly, can have an
Open
event, an
air.
open air conversation,
Yes.
have a sort of sermon. It's always good to have a little food and something that everybody eats, right? And a little meal helps the heart. So I think it's a good idea. That the kind of the police kind of broke the ice on the
Yes.
ground, and even I'll be honest, right? So we're playing the Lapo Xingping, I'm calling it, the Xingping stuff, and then Sergeant Andrew said, annually, right? And he's look, and he want to go up the hill, right? and a couple of boys and I were beat it. And I said, well, I've been the good thing, and I wanted the singing to happen, but I was ready to make the wrong, to go up the hill, to go by your shop, and to go my Shirley and come on. But the time was more limited, and we didn't have the mic, we couldn't read the mic. But I was so happy that he felt so comfortable.
You understand?
Right. Remember, he was like, let's go. And I guess I'm the one who actually broke it. And I didn't go up the hill. I came because I wanted the mic, So I went up a little bit and we came back around. But the children were so happy. People were saying so many great things. And I think it was such a great edge. And if they ever do events like this again, Christmas involves children, but some adults never had gifts as children. So I think that it was such a big bacchanal, because it's true the children are there, but grown people are children too.
Yes.
They were children at some point. So I saw when the adults were getting the gifts, like it was such a smart thing to do because everybody counted. And it was just not to say, just those little ones and those big ones who forgot about you. And I thought that it was a surprise for me because I thought it was just something for children.
Yes.
What you thought about that?
It was good. They involve a few of the parents, and some of the parents that helped to clean up the place and so.
Right.
They involved them, which was good. And then something just come to my mind. In growing up in Silver Lake as a child, we always had fear for police. We always had fear for police. It's like everything about police was bad.
Why?
Because I think it's the way they went about doing things in our community at the time, because we had the long houses and it's like we had a lot of people doing, different crimes. So they used to always come. But I think they used to do it the wrong way because they just used to burst the homes, burst the doors. And in growing up, always had a fear for police, scare of the police. Like everything about police was bad. So then it was difficult for us as a children to work with the police to how they trying to do now to bring the community police because they taught us things the wrong way. So we had a fear for police and we would not help, we would not answer to them. Instead, when we see them coming, we would shout, police, police, police to make everybody know the police coming. But now we're in a new era.
And let me tell you, even if it's a new era, don't be surprised if people still say police,
Yes,
police.
yes,
So
I
when you
know.
have a habit, you're not just going to stop all of a sudden.
I know.
Right?
But what I just saying, the
Right.
children, they don't
Right.
have no fear because they
Yes.
do experience. They never experience what we experience. That is what I
that's
trying
what
to
you
say.
meant.
Yes.
Right.
In
So
my time,
the young-
we had fear them and we wouldn't have that kind of bond with them to even be where they be and for them to come to first to play drums and sing. But no, my children, my grandchildren, they enjoying them in a different way.
Yes, and it was so. And Alistair, you can tell me, for a young person your age, with your two beautiful children there with you, and your nieces and nephews and so on. You could tell us a little bit about what the experience was like for you, especially even at your age, what you experienced with police earlier on, and what you felt about how your children experienced police last week and what you hope for them in the future. Yeah.
Okay, so my experience with the police, it was an easy one because I remember when they came in the first time to have a meeting to introduce the community police to them. I tell them I don't want to talk to them. They're not my friend. I don't like them. And I actually walked out on him.
Okay.
But it had one that didn't give up. He followed me. He literally at home with me. And he broke me down. He was explaining to me what they want to do in the community. For my daughter, my 5-year-old daughter, she was there with me and she was like, she's scared because of recent activities that happened and how she suddenly came in because they had long guns and all. So for her, she had a little fear. But when he was explaining it to me, I brought her. She cannot understand. Then a couple weeks ago, before they had the party, they came and let us know they having a party first. Well, for the kids. And then they wanted to fix the public convenience. She was there too, so I was telling her that's the police, they come and do a party for us and all that. And I think it will break her down. When they came in last week, Thursday, we went to the funeral home to view the body of my brother. And when we came back, they were already there. So I told her, you see, the police come, they came in and they did the party. She prepared herself. She went back outside. She was excited. So I'm glad that she got the experience at a young age. She was very happy about it. And she being happy makes me happy. She being comfortable makes me comfortable. So the fact she experienced it younger than me, I'm glad.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
And I could see it. I just saw her putting her little dance down and excited, you know. And it's so amazing that these children at that age, I mean, some of them, their first major encounter, they may have other encounters, but that was a major encounter with the police, a major one, because they had all those long period of time. So whatever else happens, that is part of their memory
And
now.
she wasn't the only one that had feared the police here. A lot of them, her age, feared the police. When they saw it, they would run, police. Some of them would cry. They would actually stand up and stay there and it's there they crying. When they saw police.
They freeze. They just freeze. Oh, wow.
But I'm glad, again, they choose Silver Lake to come and do that community thing first. Good. Well, not first, but you understand.
Yeah, for the first time in that way there.
Yes.
Yeah, for you to
in
see
that way.
Yes.
So they know it's not only about big guns or coming and handcuff and, it's a good part about them.
Yeah.
Which is the community policing. So I'm glad they're getting that experience.
And actually, I told JJ, as you called him, that actually there's a young lady I wanted to introduce to him who told me she wants to be a police officer. She lives in Silver Lake now. And she said she wanted to be a police officer. Wow. And I said, why you want to be a police officer? And she said, I would like to do that. But I think in her mind, and knowing her because she wasn't better you with us, she's been around. But I think she's thinking that there's something good police can do.
Yeah.
And that night, I was so happy to see her engaged. Actually, I told him that I was going to introduce. I showed her from a distance, but I never got a chance to introduce them. Hopefully, sometime in the future, we can get to introduce, because I told her I would very much like to talk to her some more, because I train a lot of police officers and, where I am and here in other parts of the world. And for me, as a military person, as a person in uniform, I have greatest respect for lots of professions, including that of the police. And I know that is the good, the bad, and the ugly, but the good is really good, and I think it's a great profession. I think unfortunately, a lot of the police officers that leave are good ones, because sometimes, they just find that's not what they came for. But even when the good police officers leave, or many good police officers leave, all of the good police officers will never leave. So there's always some good police officers that are there. And just as you have in your family, within your own self, there are good and bad sides to your own self. So even in someone like a police department, you have the good, the bad, and the ugly. But if all of the good leave, what's going to be left? So it is good that young people are seeing this as a potential career, and they can actually help to make some positive change. And I must say that for me as well, for someone who next will be doing this for 30 years, I actually see that I am seeing, I see a new era. Because it reminded me of some of what we did in Granby when we were starting off in 1996. In 1995 when we were in Barrow Scale, in 1996 we did the work there, and in 1997, on January 1st, the first community policing program in Dominica and many parts in the Caribbean was implemented for the first time, And then came back in 1998. We evaluated it in 2008. I brought with Bert, as Mr. Blackmore said, the two police officers from Buffalo, New York, and the chief of police of Ottawa, which is the capital of Canada, came down. And there are still some police officers, including, Timothy, again, who is ASP, who actually is one of those original, and many others, there's a few others as well. So I really believe we can rekindle that. I really believe, I'm glad that the minister believes a sensible goal to think about reaching 3 or less homicides at least for 3 consecutive years in the next 10 years. Let's see how well we do. And I just want to say, as we're winding up, because I want to be respectful of the time, that the idea of peaceful nature isle, it is now the time that every Dominican need to make part of your identity a deliberate effort to be able to create a more peaceful Dominica. For Dominica to be the first place in the world that can import and export peace. What I mean by that is that when people come to our shores, tell them, bring the most peace you have in your heart, bring the most peace you have in your mouth, in your mind, the most peace you have in your suitcase, and the most peace you have in your wallet. And when you leave Dominica, we want you to even leave more peaceful than whence you came. Because Dominica, by nature, there's something about Dominicans that are unique. I mean, when you read our history and even the position we had as the last place to really be colonized in the Caribbean, that section and the way that our communities are set up, our natural resources, Dominicans, and if you ask anybody outside of Dominicans will say we're special too. But a lot of people come here and say, Dominica doesn't even feel like a real place because some of the people are so nice, and we could tell everybody is not living in glory, but people seem so happy, so kind, so courteous. So there are some things that we have that as an advantage that we need to harness and we need to be able to create as a product that people know us as Peaceful Nature Isle. So when you come here for the Creole Festival, so many people come here and they don't worry about things happening to them. So there's more industry we can build if we are able to address some of those issues. And as Mr. Blackmore said, things like burglary, rape, and theft, some of those things we are doing better at. But we need to kill each other less. We need to really stop doing that. We need to reach out to the people, anybody here that's listening, that has any vengeance in your mind, in your heart, for something you want to do to someone who did something to you. You can confront them, but do not use a gun, do not use a knife, do not try to take their lives. And if you are thinking of harming someone, killing someone, maiming someone, I want you to remember that you, as a Dominican, you have a natural birthright to help keep our place safe, to help keep our place beautiful, to help promote Peaceful Nature Isle. And before you stab that person, you shoot that person, you do that thing to that person, ask yourself, if you are a real Dominican, whether you're acting like a real Dominican, because real people do not really kill people. And you have the ability not to try to harm someone if you just think to 3. You don't even need to count to 10 because it takes less than a second to kill someone. Count to 3. Think about your children. Think about what happens if you go to jail. Think about your mother that's going to cry around the caskets, the kinds of things that we see. And know to yourself that you do not have to go that way. And when you act, not to kill someone or shoot someone, to hurt someone, you're actually becoming a hero because you are contributing to this new Dominica that we're building. The new Dominica that we already have, that we're all peaceful people already see us that way. But having 20 murders, that's way, way, way too many. And we need every single Dominican's help. We need every visitor's help to embrace Peaceful Nature Isle and to do everything we can. As in Peaceology State, we'll talk some more hints, give some more hints about how to reduce violence, without reduce conflicts without violence. We will talk about various ways that we can do this on an individual, family, community level, and so on. And I will say again, we will have Peaceful Nature Isle show on the 5th of January at Kyrie FM. We will continue to have, we'll try to have a regular date here and a regular date at Kyrie for Peaceology State and for Peaceful Nature Isle. But we want to reach our audiences. We think it's a ripe time. Do you feel the air? I mean, it's a new era. I mean, those 20 murders we went through, hopefully next year when we say that's really something in the past, even then it feels a way, but it still feels that the hope is stronger than the despair. And we have to capture, do you agree, Esther? We have to capture this moment to continue to build peaceful nature. I know we are almost to the end here. Any final thoughts from you, any of you, before we leave the studio? Anything? Well, I accept my sympathy again. I think we had a good message,
Yes.
from Dr. Rodney. The whole idea that if someone wants to take your life, they want to be your God, because God is the only one that gives life, is the only one that takes life. And I will say lastly as we close, for those who cause harm to Boom that causes death, and Esther, your brother, and to those who killed your father, I think they probably need our prayer more than they need our anger. Because I don't think when they were born, that cute little kid, their mothers or their fathers wanted them to do that. And I don't think the time they got their first Christmas present, like the cute kids we saw, that they said, I want to be killing someone. So there is something that we need to reach out to be able to help those. Nobody's looking to kill them back. People are looking to say, you did something, whether you're found or whether you're hiding, we don't want you to do it again, because somebody may do it to you. The fight is the gun, the bullet that you fire maybe you may miss, and so we want you alive. We're not trying to go out and do something to you. And if you have a vengeance in your heart to try to kill someone, don't try to do that, because you may be the one to end up dead. And and it's not you. It's not, if you're trying to kill someone, it's not your nature to kill anyone. It's God's nature to determine when people go. We want people to think about that. Okay. Well, we are here
for Bible verse.
Say again.
I'll just end with a
Sure.
Bible verse.
Thank you. Give us a Bible. Thank you so much.
The lamp of the body is the eye. If therefore your eyes is good, your whole body is full of light.
Which chapter?
That is Matthew chapter.
Yes. Yes, let's remember that as we go. Lambi, thank you for being here with us, and the Q95, the big station. The callers, thank you for calling in. I know Bernard George had said something. Bernard George is the grandson of Mr. Selwyn, and I know he was trying to reach out to us. He says, good evening, a lovely program. I'd like to take the opportunity to give thanks to you and your firm and your team for the great job. Well done on the result that you have brought to the beauty to the family shop that was once run by my deceased grandfather and father, now being run by me, and it's an honor to see the man from the soil and doing the work back in his community and so on. And he said something that I'm not going to read it online, but then I'll tell you why I'm not going to read it because that's politics in it. He talked about the right thing, but anyhow, that's Bernard George, who is, he said, "Merry Christmas to you guys, to everybody," and he's saying thanks to you, Sheldon, and thanks to you, Marian, for helping to beautify his shop. And Bernard is just expressing his thanks. Thanks again to the sponsors, and we are at time. Everybody, have a happy Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
When it comes.
When it comes, God's willing. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Land of sunshine, land of rain, a land of joy, a land of pain, land of rivers and fresh stream. Why to who lead? Land where Kalinago, Carifuna roams free through mountain, river, valley and sea, hunting, fishing, planting, weaving. Why to who lead? Such a blessed land, virtues abound. Why land of legend. Jack, Cicero, Bala, Maria, Hero. She was a land of colonialism, a land of absenteeism, land of majestic maroon chiefs, land of different beliefs, land of the waterfall, land of the boiling lake. When you go away, please, please return for goodness sake to our white She's a land of independence.